Phase Hero on this fine, lovely Thursday, February 26th, 2026. BD here, joined today by Jenna Anderson.
Hey, everybody.
And we don't got Aaron Perrine, and we don't got Jamie Durack this morning. We had to do a little Thursday morning show this week because we want to make sure we hit our weekly goal. We've only missed one since we promised it. And it will be a weekly episode every week. And it's early. Aaron is out living life, having a good time right now. Actually, not where internet is, and I'm a little jealous. And Jamie is prepping some Lido stuff, so make sure you go listen to Lido, you shielders over there. But Jenna and I hopped on this morning, and we're going to release this on podcast platforms pretty much immediately. So happy Thursday to you on podcast platforms as well. You're getting a fresh one, fresh out of the oven. Didn't even have to wait for it overnight. Jenna, how you feeling today?
I'm good. I feel like a flashback to our Peacemaker episodes in a way of just recording on Thursday mornings with the two of us. Like that was a
Oh
lot
my
of fun.
gosh.
And then the chat, like we have people watching for the first time on a live show, which is great. We love to
What?
see it.
What? Well, look at this. Fox Sock. I just read their name. I swear I just read their name. Hey, everyone. Can't believe I can catch a live show. Greetings from Hungary. Well, hello there, Hungary. Thank you so much for being here. Get BD to 100K. Hey, thank you. And I saw a question. Hey, BD, are you wrestling tonight? Yeah, I don't know if it'll be broadcast. I show up and I find out if it's on TV or not, or if it's next week, and I'm getting a little frustrated by it. So watch OVW Rise if you like wrestling. It's a great show. There's a lot of talent on it. I have no idea whether you'll see me tonight or on Tuesday, but I do know I'm leaving immediately after this show to drive up there. So we're gonna do this, and I just got back home about 4.5 hours ago because I was out in LA for Hoppers and Project Hail Mary. Jenna, before I saw Hoppers and Project Hail Mary, if you had to guess which one of those two I would like more, which one do you think?
I would say Project Hail Mary, knowing you and your love of Interstellar. I feel like that kind of felt like a no-brainer there. But like I have high hopes for both of those movies. Like I was gonna ask your thoughts on both, but I have a feeling both are probably pretty good.
I will say you were absolutely right in that prediction, and in that both are pretty good. I saw Hoppers Monday night. It's honestly very, very good. I mean, like I think of Pixar. What are the movies when I say what movies you think of when you think of Pixar? What are the first movies that come to mind?
Like Wall-E, Toy Story, Up. Probably if I had to
Well,
pick 3, I would say those.
okay, for me, it's like Toy Story, Monsters Inc.,
Mhm.
Finding Nemo. I guess is probably
Mhm.
the next one. But all the movies that you just said and I just said, I feel like the best of Pixar, and this is most of Pixar, my favorite Pixar movies at least, are the ones that take these just wildly imaginative concepts about things that aren't necessarily human, and they find a way to like apply a whole world to it, especially Toy Story and Monsters Inc. And I feel like that's what Hoppers did with animals. I mean, Finding Nemo did it too, but
Mhm.
it just did such a good job of creating this imagination or exhibiting the imagination that the filmmakers had and making it something that's high enough in concept that you could imagine a person switching into this robot beaver body and talking to animals for an hour and 45 minutes and having like this emotional payoff of that. Of course it does. It's Pixar. And also being simple enough to never not know what's going on or demand more of a sci-fi explanation to why that works. It's a Pixar movie. Kids are going to dig it. I really liked it. I really, really liked it. I thought it was really good. But
How's the
Project Hail
lizard?
Mary. Oh, the lizard is not in the movie that much.
Dang, okay.
Like is kind of present throughout, but
Mhm.
is not nearly in the movie as much as is in the marketing. And I love that damn lizard. Lizard,
Mhm.
lizard, lizard.
The
They had Tom
TikTok
Lizard.
sound of that, like, lives rent free in my brain. So seeing that he was actually, like, in another movie, I was like, "Oh, I see what they're going with here." But, like, damn, I wish he was in the movie more.
I will say that seeing in context where the whole lizard thing comes from, it made me laugh. I don't know if that's like I don't know. That might even be in the marketing. I'm not really sure.
Mhm.
But the lizard is in the movie. Just doesn't have a. I would not call him a major player, a major character.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. But Project Hail Mary was. You've seen The Martian, right?
Yes.
And you've seen Interstellar.
Yeah.
Project Hail Mary is like if David Weir wrote Interstellar, kind of.
Mhm.
Like it's like Interstellar, but fun. I don't know, but also hugely emotional. I only
Mhm.
cried during one of the movies, and it was Project Hail Mary.
Mhm.
I thought, and I think a lot. I mean, most of the theater cried during Hoppers. Maybe I'm just soulless, and the animals didn't get me, but the rock alien did. But man, there's just Brian Gosling's great. Phil Lord and Chris Miller just did such a great job. And like they have a tone about like their filmmaking where it
Mhm.
can be serious on a dime and then boop, quick bit of humor that's just snarky and sarcastic, but so present and never too campy. The movie
Mhm.
does so well. It's so good. And it's very faithful to the book. I haven't read the whole book, but I've read a lot
Mhm.
of also listened to podcasts of people talking about their reactions to the book and stuff. And it is really in line with the tone and events of the book in a lot of ways. And I thought it was really, really well done. It's just so I thought Project Hail Mary. I mean, look, it's February 26th, but it is definitely the best movie I've seen this year so
Mhm.
far. And I think I've seen 8 or 9 movies so far. Previously, I would have said it was Send Help. But now I think Project Hail Mary definitely took that. And I don't know what could dethrone it between now and the Odyssey, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. My biggest question with Project Hail Mary is like, I know you were avoiding the later trailers for it, like the Super Bowl trailer. I know you kind of went out of your way not to watch it. I then went to the movies to see Wuthering Heights the following weekend and had to watch that trailer. And I was like, I feel like I've seen the entire movie. Do you think like there are still surprises within the actual movie that aren't in the marketing?
So when I saw that first trailer, I saw the commentary being, you showed too much, you showed too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the fact that we find out that there's essentially an alien in the movie was the big thing that people were saying was too much to see.
Mm-hmm.
That is the whole movie. That's the whole point of the movie.
Yeah.
Like that is an early on thing. I haven't seen the most recent trailer, but I really didn't think that first trailer that shows that, yes, Ryan Gosling meets an alien in space. And it didn't really show us the alien. It didn't like, I couldn't have told you then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming maybe you know what the alien looks like or what it's made
Yes.
of or something. I don't remember particularly like knowing the design of this creature that Ryan Gosling encounters and all that from that first trailer. And when I watched it, my reaction was like, I had no idea what was coming.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea the adventure I was going, because that is the first act is he's got to be in space. He's going to meet this alien thing. And there is mystery around the alien. There's a lot. And I didn't know where Ryan Gosling and the whole adventure would go. But I from the first trailer, I don't know if they gave away a lot more. Maybe they did give away a lot, but I was just like, I was very surprised.
There were a couple shots in like the final trailer where it was like, this feels like a third act thing, or it feels like, oh, here's what, like, we have to go to this thing or whatever. But I still don't have like the full plot context. It was just one of those trailers where you watch it and you're like, I feel like I've seen the movie, even though it now sounds like I probably haven't.
Yeah, I think you are. Have you read? You haven't read the book, have you?
No.
I think honestly, I mean, you probably don't need. Well, you have like almost a month, but I was glad I read some of the book, and then after I watched the movie, I listened to a couple book podcasts, like some really good. I forget. There's one I want to shout out. They did such a good job, and I just wanted to hear what people were saying about the book and what their favorite parts were, because I interviewed Phil Lord and Chris Miller at NASA yesterday. What the fuck?
Wild.
Who let me in there? But they're going to be on the director debrief on the Brandon Davis show on March 20th, the day it comes out, because we talked for a while. Full spoilers. It was so cool. And yes, I threw a Spider-Verse question out there, and that I'll just share the question I asked them, and you'll have to wait to see this. I'll probably clip this before Project Hail Mary, but I ended the interview by saying, like, at the end of this movie, I felt amazed and inspired and emotionally like up and down throughout this whole thing. What am I going to feel at the end of Spider-Verse? And they were like, they actually gave a really good answer. They said, hopefully all those things, we really want you to feel like you went on an adventure. I don't want to paraphrase it, but they actually had a lot to say about it when I thought that it would just be like a non-answer, because I don't know, you ever put somebody on the spot for something like that, they usually don't answer it. But I was like, this is a fun way to tie it, and they played along, and they were really cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, great movie, highly recommend it. Speaking of Spider-Man and Spider-Verse and animated movies, how about some unexpected news here? Whew.
Which of us is going to say the words?
Okay. A Venom animated movie is in the works. And this is being directed by Final Destination Bloodlines, Zach Lipovsky, and Adam B. Stein. Produced by Amy Pascal, Avi Arad, and Matt Tomac, who are the standard producers on all Sony Spider-Man things. But Tom Hardy and Kelly Marcel, who produced those 3 Venom movies, are also producing, which I sit here and I go, okay, well, that could just be like an obligatory. They have anything Venom does over the next X years, they become producers on it, get a little bit of money out of it, maybe have input, maybe don't, but they could also be heavily involved. This is interesting news.
I love hearing this. I like, you guys know how much I ride for the Venom movies kind of unexpectedly. I think like they became something so just kind of like gonzo and ridiculous and kind of like leaned into this very unique energy that it was like I could have watched a dozen more live action Tom Hardy ones. So, like the fact that they wanted to end it where they ended it, I thought I respected. I can no longer hear the Maroon 5 song that plays over those last 5 minutes without thinking about that movie, because it is just the funniest thing to put a fan cam of your movie footage at the end of your movie. But like you said, I could see them being involved. I could also see it being a thing of like, let's just make sure Tom Hardy is in the conversation, at least in some way, just so like we're not overriding any other future plans or ideas that he might have had for the character. If anything, I'm really like curious what the art style is going to be, because I feel like there are two ways to go with it. You could either do like the very Todd McFarlane, very like kind of comic booky standard, like what you think of when you think of Venom in the comics, or you could just go like weird body horror anime with it. And I feel like both of those would really work.
Yeah, I think an R-rated animated Venom would be insane.
Yeah.
That would be really cool to see. I mean, the way that the Spider-Verse movies are animated, knowing there's also Spider-Punk and Spider-Gwen on the way as well. Has Venom been in the Spider-Verse movies yet? Has he?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we haven't seen the symbiote. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think this is cool. I'm very interested to know more. It's still one of those, is it going to get Elmore Toad? Or is it going to get Craven? Or is it going to get Spider-Versed? You know what I mean? There's so many outcomes to these Sony movies that actually even make it to us or don't, that I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get excited quite yet, but it's fun news. I haven't seen Final Destination's Bloodlines, so I can't really speak to whether or not I know these directors' work, Zach and Adam. But yeah, Venom was in the post-credit scene of No Way Home. The symbiote was in No Way Home. Scott, thank you for that call out. Yeah. I meant the animated Spider-Verse movies. Was Venom a creature? Yeah. Was Venom featured in Across the Spider-Verse or Into the Spider-Verse? And I don't think he was I don't think the symbiote was a part of those stories yet. I don't think we saw him among all the Spider-Men and women in those movies. Yeah. But I'm
also like, it's interesting to have directors and not writers. Like the reports about this said, like they don't have a writer yet, but they're like going to open up a writer's room to like take pitches on it. But like, just based on the trailers I've seen for the Final Destination movie and like the opening sequence that they have on like the Space Needle, it's like, okay, these guys can do like weird R-rated kind of funny horror, but like still kind of gruesome stuff. So it's like, yeah, y'all work for Venom. I could totally see this working.
Yeah. And that's not the only news that Sony had this week. I believe this one came from Variety. Sony is rebooting their Spider-Man spin-off movies. It'll be a, quote, fresh reboot, end quote, with, quote, new people, end quote, says Sony's Tom Rothman. I saw Bob Iger at the Hoppers premiere. There's really not much I could ask him about stuff, but if I did see Tom Rothman at like a Sony movie premiere, I'd be like, hey, brother, I got cues, bro. I got questions for you, big fella. Because I remember at the No Way Home premiere, he was spilling. He was a good interview. He was a very good interview. But I would love to talk to this guy. This feels like a threat.
Especially for you.
What the fuck, guys? Why are we doing it? Do we need to? I think we're at an interesting time. I think that people must realize that Marvel movies are not just a guaranteed hit anymore, no matter what you put out. There was a time when you could put out Madam Web and it would, if Madam Web came out in 2017, do you know how much money it would have made?
A lot more.
Probably would have been received a little bit better too.
Yeah.
Even though it still wouldn't have been good if it was the exact same movie, but people would have probably said nicer things about it. So I'm putting my phone in Do Not Disturb here. But this is good news. Sure, I want to see these characters. I'd like to see them get another shot. And I think there's no doubt that they'll have like Miles be involved in this if they care about box office. I just hope they care about quality of movie as much as they care about box office, because they were just putting shit out and we ended up with Cravens and Madam Webs and Morbiuses.
I like it. Miles feels like a no-brainer of like in post Secret Wars. If you just like actually bring Miles into live action and kind of just form a Spider-Verse around him, like I could totally see that working. I'm sure part of it's also the reception to Toby and Andrew coming back, and like whatever happens with them post Secret Wars, I'm sure nothing is off the table to finally like explore their pockets of universe, or maybe let them show up in things. But that might just be me putting too high of expectations on what these movies end up being. But like for me with these movies, I liked them at their best when they were just developing stuff that otherwise wouldn't be made in a connected universe. Like I will always mourn the Silver Sable Black Cat movie that was just Thelma and Louise with superheroes. Like that sounded really cool, and I would have loved to have seen that made. And so like I hope if they are trying again, like whatever they end up trying still has those weird little genre pockets that like wouldn't normally exist otherwise.
Yeah, it's good to have these. It's a good opportunity for audiences to meet new characters. I actually do. I'm not going to lie to you. I do want to see Bad Bunny's El Muerto movie. Bad Bunny did phenomenal in WWE wrestling. He's got his first lead role coming up. He's a great artist and performer. I don't care about the El Muerto character. I just don't care about it. Like, it's not a character I think
there's only 3 appearances. Like, there's nothing to really even care about or latch onto. It was just like he is drawn to that character because it is a wrestler. I feel like if you're just making a wrestling superhero movie that just happens to have Marvel connections to it, like, that could print money. Like, that does sound successful, especially if you have someone like him leading it.
Oh, forget it. That movie makes a lot of money, especially in Latin America.
Yeah.
Like, he's the biggest artist in the world right now. And he's did a phenomenal job multiple times over in WWE. And I also enjoyed his halftime show. All right. So now we've got a new report from Variety about Disney. Actually, some good news in here. Some if true good news. One of these is, I don't know what the order these are written. Jenna put the show notes together because I slept for 3.5 hours, and Jenna's an absolute fucking legend, and we love her for it.
Thank you.
Sources inside the company's film division believe the health of the MCU does not hinge on an individual title. Okay, first of all, this is my first time reading that quote, actually. The film division believes the health of the MCU does not hinge on an individual title. That should be a good thing.
Yes, in the context of the overall article, they were basically like, just because Brave New World and Thunderbolts and like insert project here underperformed, they throw She-Hulk under the bus of like certain projects didn't do well, and I'm like, why did we have to throw my girl under the bus like that? But they basically try to say like, yeah, if not every project makes $1 billion, or if not every project is like a massive smash, like the health of the MCU doesn't hinge on that. That's a good mentality in theory, but I also think like the audience might not feel that way.
And that goes back to what I think Aaron would bring up, and we've talked about on this show several times, is the audience expectations versus what you actually get, and how that impacts both in what you might expect from a story, but also now in this conversation, what you might expect from a box office, and how that impacts fandom and discourse and things like that. Fantastic Four made, 600 million, I think. Let me get the right number. Mm-hmm. Less than it would have if it came out, 6 years earlier, like I just said about Madam Web.
Yeah.
But it only made 520 million worldwide.
Wow.
That's I mean, I thought it made more than that. That's still not great, but that's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not great for a Marvel movie standard of the Infinity Saga, especially.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot of money for a movie in general. However, obviously these Marvel movies cost more to make. But I don't know. I think the sources inside the company would know more about what a successful box office run is than I would. And that's part of this, I think. Like, I'm sat here used to going, well, Fantastic Four would be a $1.5 billion movie, made 520 million instead. And then that just correlates with, it must not be that good, or it must not be something people are enjoying, and people don't care about this anymore. And I don't think that's true. And maybe that seems to be what they're saying. Would you say?
To an extent, yeah. I just like box office prognosticating only goes so far for me, because it's like it's still some of that conversation kind of overrides the actual merit of the art and like whether or not people actually like it and respond to it. Like we saw that last week when we were talking about Love and Thunder. So it's like, yeah, I like that they have this mentality in house, but I also like, as the chat's kind of pointing out, like we're on a year-long marketing trek for Doomsday. Like we're gonna have no movies in the year between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So it's like they can kind of spin it this way now that we're like headed towards this proverbial finish line and we have those 2 big movies on the horizon. But it is still like a healthy approach to kind of be having. But like you said, if the movies are still made for a lot of money, like if the budgets are still massive and then they're underperforming, like that still probably is frustrating from a business perspective either way.
Mm-hmm. And John in the comments, John Brown says, stop with the box office totals. That doesn't make for true success. And John's right. I mean, first of all, for me, the measure of success is if I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I could be the only person who watches it. And that if I enjoy it, I enjoy it. I enjoy things more, to be honest, when I have the ability to celebrate enjoying something. The discourse and the fandom and coming on here and that's why I love our community on Face Hero, because even when people don't like something in our comment sections, we have a very respectful audience here. And I always like, it's okay to not like something. We always say that. I like liking stuff when other people like it too. It's just more fun. And yeah, but there's also a part of this report says the executives are pleased with what they've seen for the December release, and rival studio heads privately predict Doomsday will be the year's highest grossing film. So there's 2 things to unpack there. One, internally, the higher ups at Disney are happy with what they're seeing from Doomsday, which is almost done filming. It goes back in, I guess, a little under 2 months to film more and then lead into Secret Wars production as well. And then the other part here is that the expectation is Doomsday is the biggest movie of the year. That part doesn't surprise me. I look at the conversation immediately and go, well, Dune 3 is the same day. And we just got the news that Dune 3 has the exclusive IMAX contract window thing there on opening weekend. Is one of them going to move? I don't know. I do have a hard time imagining Avengers Doomsday moves because of the countdown clock and the marketing and all that. But it is just, no, it wouldn't be a gobsmacking amount of money to lose IMAX, but it would be an amount of money.
Yes.
That you're losing by not having a ticket that's $10 to $15 more expensive than a regular ticket available 4 times a day.
Jurassic World Rebirth kind of proved this last summer. Like, it didn't get an IMAX run, and it kind of needed it. Like, I think a lot of the reason why the previous Jurassic World movies had done so well at the box office was the premium formats that weren't available that time around. So, like, I think it is definitely a contributing factor, and I think that, like, it's something that they're probably all privately considering, and it's like, no, you move. No, you move. It makes me happy that Dune has the guaranteed release because I love seeing the Dune movies in IMAX. Like, Denny crafts the frame so brilliantly for it. But it's like, yeah, the box office conversation around Doomsday is definitely going to be different if certain markets can't even get that more expensive ticket to begin with. My thing also with just the biggest movie of the year conversation is it's still being released towards the end of the year. Like, I don't know, like, it'll ultimately at the end of the day make a lot of money, but I also like going again to the thing of quality. Just because it makes the most money doesn't necessarily mean it is like the most beloved or the most talked about or the most yada yada. Like, that is a whole 2 separate conversations. It's just people view it the way that they view sports teams of like, oh my God, you're like, the box office equates to points or records or whatever. And it's only a part of the conversation.
I think that the movie people are going to remember from this year is going to be The Odyssey.
Yeah.
More than any other. The most memorable movie of the year is probably going to be The Odyssey.
Yeah.
The movie that makes the most money is going to be Avengers Doomsday. If you think Dune 3 is going to outperform Doomsday, I think you're delusional. No Dune movie has cracked $1 billion. I don't expect Doomsday to put up Infinity War or Endgame numbers, but it's gonna. What else could put up numbers this big? You can say Spider-Man's going to do really well. It's still not a movie that has X-Men, Avengers, Wakandans, and Fantastic Four in it. Those characters, even without a story that we have so far, you could just drop this movie in theaters tomorrow, and I think it has a $100 million, $150 million opening, which is probably the same Spider-Man is going to have with full marketing and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll do, if Doomsday is an amazing movie, there's a chance that it's right up there with The Odyssey and Project Hail Mary and hopefully Supergirl. And who knows, Devil Wears Prada 2 is right around the corner. Toy Story 5 could make a lot of money. And it could be Zootopia 2 was massive. So let's not sleep on Toy Story 5. But I mean, I just think Avengers Doomsday being the biggest movie of the year is if there were gambling odds on the box office, which I'm sure on some website there are, you could take Doomsday and it would have the least payout at the end of the run because it would be the favorite to win.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see that movie. David Arbor was talking about Doomsday a little bit. What is he promoting right now that he's doing interviews?
He's in a HBO show with Jason Bateman.
That's right. Okay.
The title is slightly impolite or slightly, not safe for work.
Right.
It's been funny seeing like Entertainment Tonight and places try to talk about the show, but yeah, that's why he's on a press tour with a lot of quotes about Doomsday.
I'm actually gonna, you know what? Can you read this quote because I'm gonna email my talent booker and I'm gonna ask her, hey, and say David Arbor's doing promo. Can you try and get him on the show?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hearing you say David Harbour, you're the main character would be pretty cool. Like that would be a very viral clip. So to Entertainment Tonight, he talked about Doomsday. He said, quote, "The movie is huge. I thought that Stranger Things 5 was big, but this is kind of the biggest thing I've ever done." And then he said, quote, "I'm really excited for the fans to see what Downey's doing. I think he's really special." And then he also confirmed to Extra that reshoots for Doomsday begin in a few weeks, but like there's no telling what a few could mean in this case.
I think he probably means there's just so many freaking people in the movie.
Yeah. I'm sure like everyone has a different start time or call time for that movie. Like I'm sure they are like, I would love to know just the production schedule, especially for something like reshoots of like when you are calling people, how closed the sets are and stuff like that. The pure logistics of it, I'm sure are insane.
Jason Fortuna with a rumor. Doomsday's getting pushed to 2027. No, I don't think that's happening. I really don't think that's happening. I just don't see Disney moving it. I don't. I do think the cost of moving Doomsday would be less than the cost of losing IMAX. But I just still don't think they're going to move it.
I think like the fact that WB is like it's like basically they're like having a staring contest of like you flinch or you flinch. Like the fact that that is happening in and of itself is like really interesting to me. And like you said, like the Dune movies have not cracked $1 billion, but they still have been extremely profitable. And you can make the argument like that and the Doomsday audience do have a lot of overlap. So like it's an interesting world to be in. I don't think it's fully going to be the Doomsday Barbenheimer thing that people want it to be, but like the fact that we're in that situation is just fascinating.
Yeah. I like Scott's comment here. We should do this math when the movie comes out. I'd love to find out how many huge actors in Doomsday never actually filmed together. And that could mean two things. They just in the same movie didn't have a scene together, or they had a scene together but never shared a set, like because they just filmed because I remember Zack Snyder put the Flash in Suicide Squad, and he was in London and they filmed in Atlanta or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's
I mean, Alan Cumming was like, I don't know who I'm acting against in this entire movie. So that will definitely be interesting.
Alan Cumming's barely in the movie. I feel like he's barely going to be in this one. I think the X-Men are getting washed pretty quickly.
The internet's going to explode if that's the case.
Yeah. All right. He also confirmed that the reshoots begin in a few weeks, which is exciting. And I want to be in that movie. Russo's called me. I'm available. I'll buy my own ticket to London. Let's go. All right. Daredevil Born Again Season 2 takes place 6 months after Season 1. So Dario Scartapane, who previously worked on The Punisher as well, talked to SFX Magazine. He said the Fisk administration at this point has really taken hold. At the same time, there's a bubbling of an underground. New York is being transformed, and the characters are being transformed by dint of a huge political.
That must have been a typo putting that in the rundown.
It's by something of huge political machinations. And then about Jessica Jones, he said, when I first came to talk to Marvel, I was like, we've got to bring Jessica Jones back. I don't feel like that her story ended. If you read the comic books, you'll know that there's a next chapter of her life that I thought was super interesting. They're having a fucking baby. I have no doubt that Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are parents, and they're both back. I bank on it. Print it right now. The odds are high. This is a payoff bet that I'll put 100 on right now. Who wants to take it? I'll bet you Mike Coulter is in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. And on top of that, I'll parlay that into they have a baby.
Someone needs to clip that. Just you being like, they have a baby. Like that was delightful. I completely agree with you, especially like after hearing that quote. I feel like the writing is kind of on the wall for that. And it's like, it's been over a decade canonically in the timeline of the universe since we've seen her. So like having them evolve their lives to that point, I think is a really interesting kind of like second act to put her in.
Yeah. And it just is in line with everything else the MCU is doing. I feel like I'm the only person who was 16 when Iron Man came out and doesn't have a kid yet, because everyone in the MCU has a kid. What the hell? God, I think to get the proper Doomsday experience, you had to become a parent while watching the MCU, because Doom is snatching all these kiddos and the stakes are saving your family. And guess who? I got a dog, and if he comes from my dog, I will go full John Wick on that. But I can't relate to the having a kid story, but I do think everyone in the MCU is having kids. Hey, I guess post Endgame, everybody was like, we're alive. Let's do it, baby. And I bet you Mike Coulter and Kristen Ritter's, not Mike Coulter and Kristen Ritter, excuse me. Huge difference. Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, I think, are going to be parents. And I think my thought is that I've heard that we're going to see what Jessica Jones has been up to, where she's been and all that. And I think it's going to be maybe some flashback stuff, or we just find out she has a kid, which fills in the blanks on what she's been doing anyway.
I agree with that. At very least, I feel like we're going to get like a reference to Luke, even if we don't see him. But like the writing, I don't know, like Mike Coulter has certainly made it sound like if he's not back, he like is going to come back sooner than later. Like I feel like it's inevitable.
I also want to make a disclaimer. I got the episodes to Daredevil and I have not watched them yet. So I don't know this. I swear on everything. This is a theory before watching. I have not watched them. So if I'm right, it was genuinely not me spoiling something. I swear on everything. But I do think Mike Coulter's coming back, and then I am almost as confident that they're going to be parents.
Yeah.
All right, and the last thing here. Oh, this is exciting. The Wolverine game got a release date for September 15th. That's cool. I'm gonna be playing that.
It just looks bananas. Like the level of violence in this game. Like people thought the Spider-Man game was violent when he is just yeeting people off of every single surface and like giving them head trauma. Like the Wolverine game is just like, I don't know. It's child's play compared to what the Wolverine game is. It's crazy.
It has to be rated M for mature, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That's equivalent to an R-rated movie for those who don't video game. Is this a PlayStation exclusive?
It seems so, especially given the state of Xbox this past week. Like, would not be surprised if.
What happened with Xbox? What did I miss? I've been living under a fucking rock.
Phil Spencer left Xbox, and then
and the AI lady took over.
Yeah, and then there are reports that they are like kind of sundowning the company, which people are like, the idea of not having Xbox as a company would be bananas in the gaming industry. So, but that's another podcast problem. But like as gamers, I know we both are kind of like, oh no, because I am definitely team Xbox if I had to pick of the two consoles. So.
Potentially hot take here. Don't care. It's real. It's honest. It's true. It's a fact, not an opinion. The Xbox user interface blows the PlayStation user interface out of the water. The PlayStation interface stinks. The Xbox interface is super user friendly and easy to navigate.
Yeah.
I'm an Xboxer as well. We still need to get Fortnite going.
Yeah. I just keep waiting for the new season. I've kind of been bored with the season that's been going on for like 4 months. So I'm curious whatever they have like down the pipeline, because I feel like they need to do something fun. Yeah.
Oh man. I will admit PlayStation's story mode games seem to be better than those of the Xbox. As a huge Gears of War and Halo fan, Gears is my favorite video game franchise ever. But I do think PlayStation, like just Naughty Dog and Insomniac alone, I think can top most of what Xbox has put out.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. But anyway,
how do you feel before we go to DC? How do you feel about the Helldivers movie? Because I know you've been hyped about that game. Because like
I missed this too.
Because they said 2 weeks ago that Momoa is going to be the lead of the movie. I'm just teaching you so much stuff. Like this is just BD learns things today.
I'm a fan of Jason Momoa. I am. I swear I am. But I just. I don't like that.
Okay.
Because I think that just becomes Jason Momoa's paint job on Helldivers instead of Helldivers maintaining its everything. I think Jason Momoa is very fun to watch, but he plays Lobo in every movie. He's perfect as Lobo. I didn't see Minecraft. He had a good job. What was the Slumberland movie? He did a good job. He had a lot of heart in that movie on Netflix. But Fast and Furious, I think he had a lot of fun, but it is just campy and ridiculous. And I don't know, I've seen it already from him. So campy and ridiculous fits Helldivers. And maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know. I also don't like to be negative without like seeing something. But as a fan of The Rock, it's gotten to a point where The Rock realized he's got to do the smashing machine instead of more of just smoldering in every movie. And I'm proud and happy he did that. But I think with Jason Momoa, it's still like Jason Momoa is the Jason Momoa character. I don't know. Helldivers movie is gonna be. Is there a director yet?
Justin Lin.
That's cool. From like he did Furious 7.
Yeah.
No. That's a lie. James Wan did Furious 7. I confused. Wait. Justin Lin did Fast 5.
Yes. That's a masterpiece. Like that is.
Did I just?
Honestly, one of the best movies. He did Fast 5, F9, F6.
James Wan did Furious 7. Justin Lin did 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for the Helldivers movie. Jason, it'll probably be funny. It's going to be ridiculous. Like you just know Jason Momoa's going to. What do you think of it?
I have not played these games. Like I only just know about them because you've talked about them. So I'm like curious. Like the concept sounds cool. The world of it sounds cool. So I'm like very curious to see like if it translates well to a movie. I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, that movie's gonna be ridiculous. All right, DC side of the world here. You want to lead this one?
Yeah. So Paul Anthony Kelly, who is playing JFK Jr. on FX's Love Story limited series. We talked about this last week, but he has kind of become the new hot fan cast for Batman. Like everyone has just clipped things from that show and they're like, he literally looks like Bruce Wayne in live action. And so he addressed the Batman fan cast in an interview with GQ. He said, quote, "If that's what they say, then who am I to say no? I mean, that would be a dream come true." Also, BD, your camera is disconnected. I do not know if that is intentional.
No, it's not. It was.
Okay.
I think my camera might have died. But I mean,
Oh no.
listen, we found last week that that's a beautiful man. He looks like Batman.
Mhm.
I'm still unfamiliar with his acting.
This is his
prowess.
first project. Like his only other project before this was a Stars show that got it like started production during, and then the writer strikes happened, and then Stars was like, we're actually not going to finish this. Like we're just going to scrap it all together. So this is his first like real on-screen project. He's been a model for before this.
Oh yeah, he looks like he would have been a model. Well, yeah, good for him. Good for him. I think every actor is probably going to have the same answer if they address a Batman fan cast. It would be a dream come true. It's a really cool role. It's like, what role is cooler and more coveted than Batman? Like maybe if you're English, James Bond, but if you're
Yeah.
American or rest of the world, it's probably Batman because everybody can name everyone who has played Batman. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I am here for it. Like I still have not started this show yet. I've been trying to like finish a couple other things and then add it to my list, but every new clip or screenshot I see of this show just like furthers the argument that he should be Batman cuz he just has this look about him that is very like old Hollywood handsome, but he literally in a way looks like how Batman has been drawn in the comics. So I am very here for that. And he just seems like a nice guy. Like the entire GQ photo shoot and interview is just really fun. He had another quote that was like being asked about being a sex symbol in Hollywood, and he was like, why not? There's an ass for every saddle. And it's like that is such a cute, like weird answer that like that only kind of like further endeared me to him.
He said there's an ass for every saddle.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm glad your camera's back because I felt like I was like doing a hostage negotiation.
Yeah, no, we're here. We're living. We're live. This is interesting. This is interesting.
Yeah, so Lars Eidinger, who has been cast as Brainiac in Man of Tomorrow, broke his silence on being cast in the role. So he was talking to Die Show mit Chris, which is a German outlet influencer on TikTok, and he said, quote, "It's truly a miracle that it happened. In Germany, there's a secret hope that one day you'll get a call from Hollywood. I'm 50 now. I thought that was it, and then it suddenly happened." So I love that that's his outlook on it. And again, I've said this when he was cast. I will probably say this until the end of time. I love that this is like taking a chance on someone who is not a household name and is like going to help make him a household name. I think it helps with a character like Brainiac to not have some like pre-existing notions of like, oh, that's Sam Rockwell, that's Matt Smith. I feel like it's a blank slate, and that's only going to lend itself even better to like what the character is.
I wanted to ask you if you have, since his casting, gone and looked at any of his work.
I have seen like a couple of things that he's in. Like there's a movie that Noah Baumbach did on Netflix in like 2022 that's called White Noise, and he shows up for this one very specific scene towards the end of the movie, and it is just him and Adam Driver talking in a seedy motel room, and like where it goes over the course of the 10 minutes that he's in the movie it is just bananas. And so like that alone already had sold me. Like once I clocked that was that same guy, I was like, all right, I'm down. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to like go back and watch the things that he's more prominently in, but like that alone I was very here for.
So in your opinion, what do you think an actor needs to do to be a good Brainiac?
There is this like, it's not just that he's menacing. It's not just that people, and I've made videos about this time and time again. People view Brainiac as this very just kind of like ultra powerful, kind of like the Injustice version of Brainiac, of like he is not only extremely powerful, but he's like this mastermind of a person. I think there are so many other shades to him beyond that, and part of that is because he, as a character, has been revamped and reinvented and retconned into so many different things that like there's kind of just this weird tapestry of what Brainiac can be. And so I think there's a lot of potential within that, but I also think we haven't had a Brainiac on screen yet that really like leans into the humanity of it and like why he would be compelled to do what he does, even though it is a very inhuman and evil thing. So like I'm excited to see what that is. I feel like he could lean into that really well.
I'm excited to watch you make many videos about Brainiac and then watch James Gunn share them. You are DC customer support, I think, in a lot of ways, and it's really cool.
Thank you.
I'm excited. I want to watch some of his work and get to know his work, and I have not. I don't think I've seen him in anything yet, so I think it's cool. But getting cast in a role like that at the age of 50 is probably really cool. I think about like when I think about an actor being like at an age around that, I think about like Coleman Domingo, who has done so much work, and now I think Coleman's getting his flowers. This might not be like a really perfect example, but I met Coleman through Fear the Walking Dead, and he had just such an incredible resume even before that. And I remember there was the rumors of him being Kang. He's now animated Norman Osborn and stuff. And I think it must be pretty cool when you do so much work and you have so much genuine love for the acting, and you do, and then you get a role like this, and it's like, now everybody's going to notice. Not that I think most actors probably pursue it for that, but I think at least a part of even the most modest, humble, earnest of actors probably have that in their mind at least a little bit, that they want their work to be seen by as many people as possible.
And like Lars is also a musician. Like he has a huge prolific music career. Like he's a rapper. I've listened to some of his stuff on Spotify after he was first cast. So it's like he clearly is also just an artist and like wants to share his art with the world, whether it is like doing a weird German rap album or being Brainiac in a huge movie. Like I'm sure that it is a tapestry of a career that he wasn't anticipating, but it's probably cool to be in that kind of position.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. So that means we're going to get a Brainiac music scene for sure, given James Gunn's tastes and his musical ability.
I don't. It will not be a full musical number. No.
Nope. Confirmed. Man of Tomorrow is a musical. You heard it here first.
You said it, not me.
I'm just kidding. I don't think that's true, everybody. I don't think that's true. God, I think some Zack Snyder fan just went, "Oh my God, it's gonna be a musical."
They already said that when there were videos of David Corenswet tap dancing and singing in like high school theater productions. So that's always going to be their attitude towards any of it.
Whew. All right, and so James Gunn, as is the usual, and we love him for it, was active on Threads.
He was active on Threads, debunking a lot of stuff because he has not been active on Threads the past few weeks, and in the process, a lot of rumors started getting spread that people. It was a lot of Mr. Bebop Boop Bop situations of people taking rumors and running with it, and then he kind of had to debunk them. So he confirmed that Man of Tomorrow is still the title of the movie. It is not Superman : Man of Tomorrow. That was because one of the trades, either Variety or Deadline, had written it as Superman : Man of Tomorrow, and people thought that the title had officially changed. He confirmed that Paradise Lost, the Amazon's centric spinoff show on HBO Max and probably now HBO, has not been scrapped or shelved. He said it definitely has not, because there was a rumor going around that had been the case and that they had met with writers, but then ultimately nothing had come to pass, and now they're just focusing more on the Wonder Woman solo movie. But so it has not been scrapped. And then the Batman trilogy is not being fast tracked so that Brave and the Bold can happen faster. That was also a rumor that was going around of like they were just trying to get Matt Reeves' stuff done as quickly as possible before Brave and the Bold. And then he confirmed that Man of Tomorrow is not directly inspired by the Panic in the Sky storyline, which is a storyline in the 90s where Brainiac kind of tries to take over Earth and Superman and a bunch of other heroes work to stop him. And he said, quote, "I read almost every Brainiac story to put Brainiac and Man of Tomorrow together and used bits and pieces I thought worked best, but Panic in the Sky wasn't a key influence on the story." So there's a lot to unpack there.
I'm not familiar with Panic in the Sky, so let's start there.
It is, like I said, it's kind of like a very lesser known storyline from like the 90s. Like it took a beat for me to even register like, oh, this could maybe be an influence on this movie, which like now he has confirmed it's not really a direct influence. But it's across all of these different books. It is very much a product of the time of like Supergirl is a robot clone of herself and Lex Luthor is technically not Lex Luthor either. Like there's all of this weird stuff that's going on, but the crux of it is like Brainiac, it has this little gang of anti-heroic characters together and he's trying to take over Earth, and then Superman and the Justice League and all of these other heroes are trying to stop him. So it sounded like that could have been similar to what we would get in Man of Tomorrow, but like then you think about salvation and all of the other aspects that are already in the universe, like how that would all work. And so it sounds like it still isn't a direct influence, but it probably is still shading Brainiac in some way, because Brainiac in that story has like an evil mustache and like a very cool costume. Like he looks crazy, but like there's definitely a very specific energy to him there, even if the plot of it isn't really inspiring the movie.
All right, I'm gonna go backwards through these notes here. Batman trilogy being fast tracked is just a heinous take. Like it's been 84 years since the first Batman with Robert Pattinson. So I think believing that, I don't even know where that came from and how that could be believed.
I think it was Daniel RPK. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, I mean, he gets some right, but I don't know. This one doesn't seem like one that the movies are taking a long time. Like they're just taking a long time.
It's also with part two. It's like once part two comes to be, I don't know. Like I'm sure there is probably a different perspective of where the story can go from there, and maybe another season of the Penguin folds into that. Maybe it's something else. But I think it's also the Batman, like the crime saga that Matt Reeves is forming is like such an anchor to the Elseworlds idea that like why would you cut that off at the knees and like let that end really prematurely before you then weave in all of the Bat fam stuff. Like I think there's a way to have your cake and eat it too. It's just like, as James has said in the past, not doing it within the span of the same calendar year. I think if you sell two different Batman projects in like wildly different ways, people will still show up regardless. It's literally Batman.
Yeah. I want to say a W Fauna in the chat here. Just wanted to say with a $4.99 super chat, thank you, my friend. Man, it's good to catch a Phase Hero live stream. Scott, is the 10 p.m. Eastern time Wednesday night too late for you, bud? You're a night owl. Come on, we know it. Come on now, don't lie. You're up late. I know you don't go to sleep at 9 p.m. Thank you, Scott. I'll look at all the W's pouring in. We love to see it.
Yeah.
Paradise Lost, definitely not scrapped. That's exciting. I just imagine a Themyscira series on HBO Max. And you just know that that's going to be beautiful. You know that there's a lot of great potential for that. The production value that HBO Max will pour into that. The fact that HBO Max films for television and takes up the full screen.
Yeah.
I love that too. I love the aspect ratio HBO Max chooses to use and not try to act like we're watching this in a movie theater. We are watching it at home, even though I would watch a lot of that stuff in a movie theater. And just the way those stories are mature and complex and well written and so thorough. I think the idea of a Themyscira series on HBO Max is exciting, and I'm glad it's still happening.
I think like Game of Thrones is such a clear template of how to do it right. And like having it air weekly on HBO and then streaming on HBO Max like feels like a no-brainer. And like there's this book from a couple of years ago called Historia that is kind of like a modern retelling of the Amazon's history. It is one of the most visually interesting books I have ever read in my entire life. Like every single panel of it is legitimately like a work of art. And so if this show were to tap into even a fraction of that energy, like it would look even leaps and bounds beyond the best scenes in Game of Thrones. Like it would look incredible. And I also think people were like worried about it because it's a Wonder Woman thing and they want to see Wonder Woman as soon as possible. But I think like it's probably this whole symbiotic relationship of figuring out what the Wonder Woman solo movie is going to look like and then letting Paradise Lost kind of exist in that world as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah. That's going to be good. It's going to be probably at least 2 or 3 years until we see something from that.
Yeah.
But that's exciting. That's exciting. And the first one, which is going to be my last one here, is that the Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow, is not, in fact, called Superman Man of Tomorrow. I saw this one going around, and I didn't know the source of it, but I was just honestly like, well, that makes sense. Just from the standpoint of titles and character names selling tickets, Superman Man of Tomorrow. I still wouldn't be shocked if this ends up happening, given that Superman Legacy dropped Legacy, but I don't know that it really matters that much. But yeah, that's why I was just like, I believe it. And then when he debunked it, I was like, oh, okay. I guess I was kind of surprised, honestly, that it wasn't true.
I wasn't surprised because James has also spoken in the past of like not really liking subtitles. Like there's a reason why the Supergirl movie like does not have Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Like part of that is also the Man of Tomorrow stuff being used here. I think part of it's also like it isn't just a straightforward Superman movie. Like it has so many moving pieces to it beyond just being a straightforward Superman sequel that like if you called it Superman Man of Tomorrow, you're kind of like burying the lead of what the movie could offer. So I like that we can go with Man of Tomorrow. Like it's a lateral jump, but it's also not just a lateral jump for that. It's a lateral jump for like other pockets of the universe, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think so. All right, well, some promising stuff for the DC. It's been quiet for the DC universe for a while.
Yeah.
Man of Tomorrow starts filming in Atlanta in April, and I think that means we're probably going to get some first looks, some probably, if they ever go outdoors, I'm sure we'll get those first looks at costumes from some really cool images, because that's always the smartest way to do it, instead of, having somebody walk into a movie theater and take a picture on a BlackBerry from 2003 and let that go to the internet. For some reason, that's always the quality something leaks in.
Yep.
I don't understand leaks. I don't understand why leaks are always such poor quality.
Mm-hmm.
I
didn't know. Go on.
I just don't understand, because if I walked into a movie studio
and
I take my phone out and I take a picture on an iPhone 18 or whatever the number iPhone I'm on now, it's still a high quality photo. Is it because you're being sneaky that you need to use a different phone from a 20 years ago? I just, not that I'm encouraging leaks. Don't go take a leak with don't go take a photo and leak it. With any format, I'd appreciate not having stuff spoiled. I keep seeing so many like Doomsday rumors that are story points and Spider-Man rumors that are story points, and I wish that shit would stay out of my feed. Like that's not news. That's a fucking spoiler to say, oh, this character is going to do that thing with this character, which is going to call for this character to take them there. It's like, that's a fucking spoiler. Don't. Why are you sharing that? Because you want likes. Like, you're not even getting money out of it. You're not, you just, people will say it just, and they'll amplify it because of the dopamine dump that comes from likes. And you're getting a mini Jamie rant from Brandon because this is the thing that really pisses me off. I think I feel as strongly about people spoiling shit on Twitter from a rumor mill, especially when they're right, as Jamie does about somebody taking their phone out in a movie theater, to be honest.
Absolutely. You are also preaching to the choir here because I completely agree with you. I hate it also because it adds to, like we said, the expectations versus reality, because people are kind of like micro-dosing plot points before they can even see the movie. And then by the time they see the movie, then they're like, well, I was underwhelmed. It was just okay. And it's like, yeah, because you read half of it on random tweets and like built up this thing in your head that isn't even really real. And then like all of those little tweets kind of just like miss any sort of actual context for the movie. I remember when a test screening had happened for Superman and certain plot details had gone around on Reddit, and there were people that were like, there are monkeys on computers and there's a whole storyline with Jimmy and Eve Tessmacher, and the way that the person had conveyed that information was like with so much just like dislike and malice that then people were like, oh, those all sound bad, I'm not gonna like it. And it's like you're completely missing the context of the like what they are doing in the movie. Like the monkey bot storyline and the little beat in the movie is genuinely funny. You just didn't have that context because you heard it through a game of telephone online. So it drives me crazy too. You are not alone there.
Man, if you spoil stuff, look at me. Wait, watch this. I got a cool camera so I can do this. If you spoil stuff, you fucking suck.
Clip it.
Was it in focus?
It was in focus.
Okay. If for audio listeners,
it didn't cut out.
On my face. I think you could count the pores on my face because I have a Sony A7 now. It was expensive. I bought it on Black Cyber Monday.
It was like Black Monday is a completely different thing.
I would celebrate if it. I don't know if it sounds like a good day. I don't know.
I mean that was when the stock market crashed, very famously.
Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't celebrate that. That sounds shitty.
You're learning so much today. BD's just learning everything today.
My brain is trying so hard to be present. I slept through. So we're gonna wrap this up here. My last couple days was I flew to LA Monday afternoon, went straight to the Hoppers premiere. Tuesday morning, I woke up and I went to Sideshow, which is like a solid hour and a half drive from Hollywood. Did some really cool stuff at Sideshow. Some of it I'm going to share this Friday. Happy Pokemon Day. And some of it I'm going to share later. And I was there for a long time. And then from there, I went to see basically went straight to Project Hail Mary, which is a 2 hour, 45-minute movie. But guess what I did like an idiot? So Sideshow was covering my hotel, and they said, just invoice us for the hotel. Book it yourself and then send us an invoice. I love Sideshow, and that was really nice of them. And so I sent them like, hey, this is the total. Is this okay? I found the cheapest hotel I could. And they were like, yeah, no, that's fine. Just send us the invoice after you book it. And then I booked it, and I go to check in after the Hoppers premiere, and I walk into the lobby, and they're like, Mr. Davis, your reservation is for next week.
Oh, no.
So I actually felt really bad. I'm not going to lie. This woman at the Sheraton Universal City Walk was so polite. I was so tired. And I just like really quietly went, no, it's fucking not. And I just like, it came out, and she was like, I'm sorry, Mr. Davis, this is for next week. And I was like, are you sure? How's that possible? And I pulled it up on my phone, and I was like, you're right. It is for next week. I'm really sorry. Do you have any rooms available tonight? And she was like, I do, but I don't have 2 nights. I only have 1 night. And I was like, is the other reservation refundable? And she was like, it's not. So I had to like, I've been spreading myself too thin. It's a blessing and a curse. I've been blessed with a lot of opportunities. I'm also learning, hey, I need to learn to say no to a couple things, learn what's working, learn what I can. If I have to miss something, I have to be okay with missing something, because I have had parking tickets that have gone unpaid and I've gotten notices about them. I had a dental bill show up at my door recently by way of the sheriff's office because I forgot to pay it. And it's just like, and I called them and I was like, guys, I'm really sorry. I just forgot to pay this. So it's fixed. It's all good now. But I just am learning like, hey, you gotta cool it a bit and get caught up on life as I fucking sit here and say, I had 3.5 hours of sleep last night because I went to NASA yesterday and interviewed Phil Lord and Chris Miller, which was amazing. That was so cool. But then because that went a little bit later than I thought it would, I flew home overnight with a 3-hour layover in Vegas, got here, woke up, did this with you. This was awesome. This was a really fun episode. This was probably going to be the highlight of my day because I think I'm wrestling Drew Hernandez tonight, and that's going to fucking suck. He's a big boy. And then now I'm wrapping this up. I'm uploading our audio, and then I'm hitting the road. It's 2-hour, 45-minute drive to OVW. I'm there for 7 hours, and then I drive home tonight. And guess what? Tomorrow, I am just fucking off.
Hell yeah.
For lack of a better phrase. I've said the F word a few times. I know there's a few people who don't like when I curse. I'm sorry. It's one of those mornings. It's just happening. But tomorrow's Pokemon Day. Me and Mini Superheroes Daily are getting out there. We're going to the Lego store. We're going to the card store. I'm going to wake up early for that, even though I'm going to be tired, but I'm just going to have fun. And that's going to be really cool. I'm very excited for Pokemon Day. All right.
Yeah.
And so all that to say, thank you so much for listening to these shows because it makes that ridiculously and likely somewhat unnecessary scheduling of my life feel worth it. And I appreciate you guys. And I'm going to catch up on life. I have literally nothing to do this weekend. I hired a video editor to edit my Greg Nicotero interview. Eric does such a good job. And that's going to go up on Monday. But I was like, I just don't want to put 4 hours into this because I need some time to myself. So I did. I got some help. But thank you to everybody who supports the journey because it's a lot. But all right, Jenna, any last words for today's episode?
It's at Hey It's Jenna Lynn on social media. As always, go read some comics and go subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is at Go Read Some Comics. I posted a video earlier this week about the Gotham City Sirens, so go check that out if you haven't already.
Hell yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging with us on this fine Thursday morning. If you're listening to us in podcast form, thank you so much. There's actually something I wanted to shout out. I want to get the number right here because I saw this over the weekend and I was gobsmacked by it. I looked at Phase Hero on Spotify.
Ooh.
Jenna, do you know how many reviews we have?
Oh, no.
197 reviews on Spotify.
Wow.
And
are they positive?
9? Hold on a second.
Wow.
Where's our 5? Where's our 5? No, thank you so much for the reviews. 197 reviews on Spotify. That's wild. And a late game here, super chat from Dale Dabo. Thank you so much for the $6.99. W Dale in the chat, everybody. That's our show today. Thank you so much for hanging with us on this Thursday morning. We will be back to our regularly scheduled Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific time next week, same time, Thursday morning on podcast platforms, unless something goes wrong with publishing it. But that's always the plan every single week. And we appreciate you guys for being here. Greg Nicotero will be on the Brandon Davis show right here on the YouTube channel where you watch Phase Hero on Monday. It's an hour and 15-minute conversation. It is really cool. He talks about early days in his career. He gets honest about Walking Dead moments, and it was really, really cool. Demetrius Schuster-Kaloa-Matangi is on the channel as well, talking all about Dak from Predator Badlands and basically the experience of doing it, maybe some sequel stuff. I tried, but you'll have to go listen to find out. Thank you so much to everybody. I hope Jamie and Aaron are having a lovely, lovely morning and the rest of their day. And I hope all of you have as equally lovely as the rest of your day. And I hope your dad and your cat's day get better when you play this show for them. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. See you in the next one.